Cars in movies. The Ford Mustang is 50 years old this month. Remember the movie Bullitt with Steve McQueen? Morgan Freeman's character in The Bucket List drove a Shelby Mustang.
You gonna drive it or buy it a dress?
Just getting to know each other.
Ford says the Mustang has appeared in more than 500 movies and TV programs. There's a big shindig in Christchurch over Labour weekend this year to celebrate the car. The 6th generation Mustang gets here next year. This time the factory is making it in right-hand drive, and it won't be a one-trick pony either. It will come with all sorts of electronic goodies to improve ride and handling and safety. Among them is Ford's My Key, where parents can lock in a speed restriction if teenage son wants to borrow the Mustang to show his mates. With me is John COKER. Ever had a Mustang, John?
No, not. Sorry, Alastair. No.
Right, now this bucket list, all right. The 10 roads in New Zealand you must drive before you turn your toes up. Now, you and I talked about it a wee while ago, and I mean, you're the best guy to go to. You've had 40 years rallying experience. You know Kiwi roads like the back of your hand. You've been plotting test drive routes for car makers for a long time also. So your top 10 are on my website, all right, automotivenews.co.nz, but let's narrow it down, say, for the sake of the TV show, for the top 3.
Yeah, the top 10 are all tarmac roads, because I guess that makes them more widely accessible to people.
Yeah.
My personal top 3, and obviously everybody will have a different opinion, in no particular order, is State Highway 35 in the North Island.
Potiki to Hicks Bay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear a lot out of Australia about the Great Ocean Road. Well, yeah, that's quite
It's
good.
all right, isn't it? But
this one's about 3 times as long and better.
Yeah, it is.
Not nearly as much traffic on it.
All right, so that's not, as you said, not in particular order.
Yep.
Next?
The second one would be the Catlins in the southeastern corner of the South Island.
You know, I've never been there.
A lot of people used to stay away from it because until relatively recently it was a gravel road, but now it's all tarmac. So basically you go to Balclutha south of Dunedin, and it's the main coast road round to Invercargill.
Yep.
Rolling countryside, quite a lot of native forest, just a nice road to drive a good car on.
And the third?
Is the West Coast.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the West Coast, I guess I'm basically saying south of Hokitika, all the way down past Franz Josef and Fox Glacier, to the gates of Haast, and through Haast Pass all the way to Wanaka. Fabulous piece of road. When it was still gravel, they actually closed it for a whole series of special stages for the 1973 Heatway Rally.
Oh, okay, gee.
Now it's a lovely tarmac road. Once again, very little traffic, because it does take a while to get to either end of it to even attempt to drive it. But yeah, once you get there, I mean, the scenery's magnificent. You've got the Tasman Sea on one side and you've got the Southern Alps on the other side.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Now, these days, of course, you're more of a media relations expert. You know, you're a long time with the Auckland Star. Right, that was through the 70s. What got you into your rallying?
I guess I was just at the age when rallying first became popular in the mid-70s. Before then, there was like one event a year. I started competing in '74 when there were club rallies for the first time ever.
What were you driving?
As it happened, it was a Ford 105E Anglia.
1100cc engine, wasn't it?
No, it was 997, so it was the little one.
And then you continued year after year, and there's no brakes in between?
I had brakes like, I guess, any amateur driver, because you have other priorities. But yes, I've done it off and on since then.
Now, I know you're going to spring a surprise on me here, mate. All right, and we talked about top 10, and we've covered it and done everything else, but I know that there's a particular road that you say beats all of them.
Well, I guess because of my rallying background, you could come up with 10 top gravel roads.
Yeah.
And I think the #1 road in New Zealand still is Highway 38 from Waitapu through to Wairoa. So Waitapu south of Rotorua, you go across Kaingaroa Forest on a tarmac road, all these pine trees, thousands of acres, get to Murupara, and then you go into the Uruwiras. And slowly that road has been tar sealed from either end, but there's still about 80 k's of gravel through the middle to Lake Waikaremoana. So there's native bush anywhere. You're up in the mountains. Just a beautiful place, and probably as far as accessibility goes to an ordinary road car, it was about as remote as you're going to get in certainly the North Island.
Yeah.
I mean, there are places in the South Island where you go up no exit roads into the Southern Alps. Same kind of thing.
Yes.
Totally different scenery, of course.
I know you plotted that route for Hyundai earlier last year, from the Benmore Dam through to Mount Cook.
Yes, the Black Forest Road.
Is that the Black Forest Road?
Which
That's private land there these days.
Yeah, I mean, that was just through 2 big sheep stations.
But years ago, wasn't it the service road when they were building the Benmore?
Yeah, that, and I think they still use it as a service road for the power pylons that come away from Benmore Dam.
That was an extraordinary piece of road.
Yeah, and I guess that gets to the stage where you really need an SUV. Which was what Hyundai drove over there that time.
You wouldn't get through there in the winter unless you had all-wheel drive. You'd need a pretty tough vehicle.
There are a number of roads like that in the South Island which are open during the summertime, gravel roads, but they're up above the snow line, which you can't use during the winter time. I mean, we did a stage on that in the 76 Heatway Rally, and it was covered in ice and snow.
Did you ever do a rally stage through the Waikere Moana?
No, one of the very early heatways in about 71 did, but since then it's never been used again because it's a state highway.
Yeah. Well, this is fascinating, mate. Look forward to more conversations with you on because I know you're going to find another road, mate, somewhere. Hey, that's what you do. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Alastair.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week. We'll be keeping tabs on the motoring industry both here and overseas. And if you want more information, you can always go to my website, automotivenews.co.nz. As always, we'll leave you with an interesting example of automotive advertising. As far as I know, this ad hasn't appeared in New Zealand, and the scorpion in it is the logo of Fiat Abarth. Until next week, drive safe. I'm Alastair Sloane.